The Draconian Empire ruled over 7 galactic sectors with an iron grip. For 300 years they had conquered planet after planet, system after system. No one stood against them and lived. Now, they turned their eyes toward a small, blue-green planet in a forgotten corner of the galaxy, Earth. Admiral Korev stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Flame. He was tall, with grey skin and sharp features. His red uniform showed his high rank, and the scars on his face told stories of many battles. Korev had conquered 100 worlds for the Empire. Earth would be his 101st. "Admiral, all 50 ships report ready," said Commander Tile, his second-in-command. Korev nodded and looked at the main screen. Earth was still far away, but their sensors showed everything they needed to know. The humans had basic space technology, simple weapons, and no unified global government. They were weak and divided. "These humans will kneel before the Empire within days," Korev announced to his bridge crew. He smiled, showing sharp teeth. "They have resources we need and a strategic position. The Emperor will be pleased." The crew worked quietly around him. No one doubted their mission would succeed. The Crimson Fleet was the pride of the Draconian forces, with the most advanced weapons and shields in known space. "Begin final approach," ordered Korev. "Prepare invasion protocols." The massive warships moved forward, their engines glowing bright against the darkness of space. They passed the gas giant Neptune, then Uranus. Soon they would reach the inner solar system and Earth would see them coming. Korev imagined the fear the humans would feel when they spotted 50 warships in their skies. "Admiral, we're crossing the outer boundary marker now," reported Commander Tell. Korev nodded and waited for the next report, but something strange happened instead. The ship shuddered. Warning lights flashed across control panels. "What's happening?" Korev demanded. Gripping his command chair, "Unknown energy field detected," shouted the science officer. "It's surrounding the entire fleet." Korev stood up, his eyes wide. "Raise shields, evasive maneuvers." But it was too late. A bright light enveloped the Eternal Flame. Korev felt a strange pulling sensation, as if his very atoms were being stretched. The bridge around him seemed to waver and blur. "Send emergency signal to High Command," he ordered, but his voice sounded distant even to his own ears. Then everything went white. Back at Draconian High Command, the monitoring station lost all signals from the Crimson Fleet at once. 50 ships, 20,000 crew members, and Admiral Korev all gone in an instant. "Report," demanded High Commander Revik, rushing into the control room. "Sir, we've lost all contact with the Crimson Fleet," said the chief operator, her voice shaking. "One moment they were there, the next, nothing." "That's impossible," Revik said. 50 warships don't just vanish." But they had. The Empire sent urgent messages. "Crimson Fleet, report status immediately." They received only silence. In return, hours passed, then days. The great Draconian Empire, for the first time in centuries, felt fear. "Prepare a diplomatic vessel," Revik finally ordered. "We need to know what happened." Meanwhile, on Earth, most humans went about their lives with no idea of how close they had come to invasion. But in a secret military base deep underground, Captain Hanbin stared at unusual readings on his monitor. The base was one of 12 around the world that watched for threats from space. Few people knew these bases existed. The governments of Earth had agreed long ago to keep certain secrets from the public. "Captain, look at these energy spikes," said analyst Hyojin, pointing at her screen. She was young, but brilliant, with keen eyes that missed nothing. They appeared at the edge of the solar system, beyond Neptune's orbit. Hanbin moved to her station and studied the readings. His face grew serious. "When did this happen?" "About 6 hours ago," Hyojin said. "It lasted only 43 seconds, then disappeared. The computer flagged it as a possible equipment malfunction." Hanbin's eyes narrowed. He had worked at the base for 15 years and had never seen readings like these. "Run a full diagnostic on the sensors." Hyojin nodded and started typing commands. After several minutes, she looked up. "All systems are working perfectly, sir." "Another equipment malfunction?" she suggested, frowning at the data. "Perhaps," Hanbin replied, though something in his expression suggested otherwise. He touched a hidden control under his desk. Deep in the mountain, special systems activated. Han Bin knew more than he could tell Hyejin. He was one of few who knew Earth's true history and the ancient protections that surrounded their planet. If these readings meant what he thought they did, then a threat had been neutralized. But it also meant something else. The old systems were waking up. Log the incident, he told Hyejin, and send the data to Central Command, encrypted Channel 7. Yes, sir, she said, still looking puzzled. Should we alert other stations? Han Bin shook his head. Not yet. Let's see if it happens again. As Hyejin turned back to her work, Han Bin looked up at the map of the solar system on the wall. Somewhere out there, a Draconian fleet had vanished without a trace. And soon he knew others would come looking for them. Earth's hidden secret was beginning to stir. 3 weeks after the Crimson Fleet vanished, a small Draconian ship entered Earth's solar system. Unlike the warships that came before, this vessel moved slowly and sent peaceful messages ahead. On board was Ambassador Melik, a tall, thin Draconian with dark blue scales and sharp yellow eyes. His official mission was to establish first contact with Earth. His real purpose was to find out what happened to 50 missing warships. The governments of Earth accepted the diplomatic visit, but watched the Draconian closely. They let his ship land at a special facility in Norway. Human leaders greeted Melik with proper ceremony, hiding their knowledge of what his empire had planned. "We come in peace and friendship," Melik said at the welcoming event. His sharp teeth showed when he smiled. "The Draconian Empire wishes to learn about your world and share knowledge." Some officials believed him, others did not. Captain Han Bin, watching from the back of the room, trusted nothing about this visitor. The Earth United Council assigned Dr. Jiwoo to work with Melik. She was to show him Earth science and culture while keeping him away from sensitive information. Jiwoo was 35 years old, with short black hair and serious eyes. She had spent 10 years studying strange energy patterns in the solar system. "Dr. Jiwoo will answer your questions about Earth science," said Council Leader Suho. "She is one of our finest minds," Melik bowed slightly. "I look forward to our discussions." For 2 weeks, Jiwoo showed Melik around research centers, universities, and cultural sites. She was careful not to reveal too much. Melik was equally careful, asking innocent questions that had hidden meanings. One evening, they sat in a research center in Seoul. Through the window, stars filled the night sky. "Your people seem strangely unafraid of the cosmos, despite your apparent technological limitations," Melik observed, watching Jiwoo's face closely. Jiwoo looked up from her computer. She had been working late while Melik read Earth history books. His question was not as simple as it sounded. "What do you mean?" she asked. "Most species develop fear of the unknown," Melik said. "They build weapons, prepare for invasion, yet humans write poems about stars and dream of peaceful exploration." "Why?" Jiwoo hesitated before responding. "Perhaps we have reasons to feel secure." Melik's yellow eyes narrowed. What reasons could a pre-spacefaring civilization possibly have? Instead of answering directly, Jiwoo turned her computer screen toward him. "That's what we need to find." "Out," she replied, showing him satellite images of an unusual structure beneath Antarctic ice. The image showed something large and clearly not natural. Geometric patterns visible under 3 kilometers of ice. "What is this?" asked Melik, leaning forward. "Something that doesn't fit our history," Jiwoo said. "It was found 50 years ago but kept secret. No human civilization could have built it." "Why show me this?" Melik asked. "Because I think it connects to the energy patterns I've been studying," she said, "and possibly to what happened to your ships." 2 days later, against the wishes of Captain Han Bin and military leaders, Jiwoo and Melik flew to Antarctica. A small team joined them, 2 security officers, a geologist, and a technical expert. They landed on the ice in terrible weather. Wind howled around them as they set up equipment over the spot shown in the satellite images. Using advanced drilling technology, they created a narrow shaft through the ice. "The structure is 3 kilometers down," the geologist said. "Our sensors detect a large open space inside." When the shaft was ready, they were lowered down in a special capsule. The journey took nearly an hour. As they descended, temperature readings made no sense. The space below was warm. "That's impossible," the technical expert said. "Nothing could generate heat down here for thousands of years." Yet when their capsule reached the bottom and the doors opened, warm air greeted them. They stepped out into a vast chamber that glowed with soft blue light. The walls were covered in strange symbols and images. The floor was a smooth material unlike any stone on Earth. "This is not possible," Melik whispered, touching the luminescent walls. "This technology, it's beyond even Draconian understanding." Jiwoo moved deeper into the chamber, drawn to a circular platform in the center. As she approached, the blue light grew brighter. "It's responding to you," Melik said, following her carefully. When Jiwoo stepped onto the platform, images appeared, in the air around them. Stars, planets, galaxies, and beings unlike any they had seen before. "It's a planetary defense system," Jiwoo explained, as knowledge somehow flowed into her mind. "Designed by a race known as the Precursors." The images changed to show Earth, surrounded by a complex energy field. Then they showed ships, Draconian ships, being pulled into a pocket of twisted space. "Your fleet wasn't destroyed," Jiwoo said, her eyes wide with understanding. "They were contained, placed somewhere else to protect Earth." More images appeared, showing early humans being brought to Earth by the tall, glowing Precursors. "We were placed here," Jiwoo whispered, "as guardians of this system." Melik stood frozen, understanding finally what had happened. For thousands of years, Earth had been protected by technology his people couldn't even comprehend. And humans, simple humans, had been designed to control it. "My people will come," he said quietly. "When I don't report back, they will send more ships." Jiwoo nodded, still watching the flowing images. "I know," she said, "and this time we'll be ready for them." The trip to Antarctica was not easy. After their discovery of the strange structure beneath the ice, Dr. Jiwoo had to fight for permission to explore it properly. Director Tae-ho of Earth's United Defense Council refused at first. "Too dangerous," he said during the video meeting. "We don't know what's down there." "That's exactly why we need to find out," Jiwoo argued. Her small apartment was filled with papers and models showing energy patterns around Earth. "What if it connects to the disappearance of the Draconian fleet?" Taeho's face hardened on the screen. "And why should we bring their ambassador? He could learn things about Earth that the Draconian Empire should not know." "He already knows something is there," Jiwoo said. "If we don't bring him, his people will just send more ships." After 3 days of meetings and arguments, Taeho finally agreed. "You have 1 week," he told Jiwoo. "Learn what you can, but be careful." A large team was assembled: scientists, military personnel, and equipment specialists. Heavy machines were flown to Antarctica to widen the narrow shaft Jiwoo and Melik had started. As the work continued, strange things began to happen. Equipment would stop working, then start again without reason. People reported hearing voices when no one was speaking. Finally, after 5 days of drilling, they created an entrance large. Enough for the full team. The night before they were to go down, Jiwoo couldn't sleep. She stood outside the base, looking at the stars above the endless ice. "Nervous?" asked a voice behind her. It was Melik, his scales almost black in the darkness. "Yes," she admitted. "Tomorrow we might find answers I've spent my whole career looking for. Or we might find something that changes everything," Melik said quietly. The next morning they descended in a large platform. 20 people went down together, 10 scientists, 8 security officers, Melik and Jiwoo. The trip down took 40 minutes. When they reached the bottom, the vast chamber opened before them, still glowing with soft blue light. "Secure the area," ordered Captain Suk, the head of security. The team spread out, setting up lights and equipment. Scientists began taking samples and readings from the walls. Jiwoo walked directly to the central platform she had found before, Melik following closely. "It recognized you last time," he said. "What will you ask it now?" Before Jiwoo could answer, Director Taeho stepped out from behind a security team. He had come down with them, though no one had noticed him before. "She will ask nothing until I understand what we're dealing with," Taeho said coldly. He was a short man with grey hair and hard eyes. This place has been here for thousands of years, yet we only found it recently. Why? It wanted to be found. Now, Jiwoo said simply. She stepped onto the platform. The chamber's blue light grew stronger. Images appeared in the air again, but different this time. More detailed, more clear. Everyone stood frozen, watching the story unfold before them. They saw Earth as it was millions of years ago. They saw tall, glowing beings, the precursors coming to the planet. They watched as these beings built something deep within the Earth, a system of incredible power. This technology, Melik whispered, touching the luminescent walls. It's beyond even Draconian understanding. The images showed early humans, brought to Earth from somewhere else. The precursors changed them, added something to them, then spread them across the planet. It's a planetary defense system, Jiwoo explained as the knowledge flowed into her mind. Designed by a race known as the Precursors, they built it to protect this sector of the galaxy from something they feared would return. The images shifted to show ships approaching Earth throughout history, not just the recent Draconian fleet, but others from different times. Each time the ships disappeared, pulled away into another space. The system has been silently protecting Earth for millennia, Jiwoo continued, by shifting aggressive forces into a pocket dimension. The Draconian fleet wasn't destroyed, it was contained. Taeho stepped closer, his face pale. Are you saying some ancient aliens built a defense system on our planet? Why not defend themselves? They're gone, Jiwoo said sadly. Extinct for millions of years. But they chose Earth as a safe place, and us as its guardians. More images appeared, showing humans changing over time, carrying something special in their DNA. Humans were engineered to eventually awaken and control this system, Jiwoo added, her fingers trembling as she translated the final inscription that appeared. We're not just random life that evolved here. We were placed here as guardians of something important. Impossible, one of the scientists said. We have fossil records, evolution, all true, Jiwoo nodded, but guided, changed, the precursors. Didn't create humans. They found early humans elsewhere and brought some here, adding to what was already evolving on Earth. Melik had been quiet, watching everything with intense yellow eyes. Now he spoke. In all our conquests, we never found technology like this. If what you say is true, then Earth is the most valuable planet in the galaxy. And the most dangerous, added Taeho, looking at Melik with new suspicion. Jiwoo stepped off the platform and the images faded. We need to learn how to control this system properly, she said. The precursors left it for us to use, but we've been blind to it for too long. A scientist called from across the chamber. Dr. Jiwoo, we found something else, a door, I think. Everyone turned to look at a section of wall that was sliding open, revealing a dark passage beyond. What's down there? Taeho asked. Jiwoo felt a strange pulling sensation, as if something was calling to her. I think, she said slowly, that's where we'll find out what happened to the Draconian fleet. That night, while everyone else slept, at the Antarctic base, Melik slipped away to a quiet corner. He pulled out a small device hidden in his clothes. It was a special communicator that could send messages across space. Melik looked around to make sure no one was watching, then activated. High Command, this is Ambassador Melik, he whispered. I have discovered why the Crimson Fleet vanished. He told his leaders everything. The ancient facility, the precursor technology, and the defense system that had been protecting Earth for thousands of years. Most importantly, he told them about humans being engineered as guardians of this powerful system. The technology here could give us control of the entire galaxy, Melik finished, but we must act quickly. Far away, in the Draconian Empire, High Commander Devek listened with growing excitement. He was the most powerful military leader after the Emperor himself, with scales as black as space and eyes that burned red. Prepare all available ships, Devek ordered when Melik's message ended. We will take this precursor technology for ourselves. Back on Earth, Dr. Jiwoo couldn't sleep. Since entering the ancient facility, strange dreams filled her nights. She saw stars being born and dying, civilizations rising and falling across the galaxy. She saw the precursors fighting a terrible enemy before they disappeared. Most troubling, She saw the Draconian fleet trapped in a pocket dimension, its crew very much alive but unable to escape. During the day, Jiwoo worked with scientists to understand the precursor facility. They had gone through the hidden door and found vast rooms filled with unknown technology. In one room, they discovered a map of the galaxy with thousands of points of light, other defense systems on other worlds. "Should we tell everyone?" asked Sumin, one of the younger scientists. "People have a right to know what we've found." Jiwoo shook her head. "Not yet. Imagine the panic if people learned that aliens built a weapon inside our planet, or that humans were engineered as its guardians. But it's the truth," Sumin argued. "Sometimes truth is dangerous," Jiwoo replied softly. What Jiwoo didn't tell anyone was how her own body was changing. That morning she had found strange symbols on her arms, faint blue lines that seemed to move under her skin. She kept them hidden under long sleeves. 3 days after Melik sent his secret message, strange things began happening around the world. In Tokyo, a young woman woke up with symbols on her face. In Brazil, a farmer suddenly moved objects without touching them. In Egypt, a child began speaking a language no one had ever heard before. Captain Hanbin collected these reports, growing more worried with each new case. He flew to Antarctica to speak with Jiwoo directly. "It's happening everywhere," Hanbin reported, showing her hundreds of images on his tablet. "And we're receiving fragments of distress signals from somewhere else." "The pocket dimension," Jiwoo said. "The barrier between our space and theirs is getting thinner." Hanbin looked at her closely. "What's happening to you?" he asked suddenly. "Your eyes, they're different." Jiwoo turned away. "Nothing important." "Show me your arms," Hanbin demanded. Slowly, Jiwoo pushed up her sleeves. The symbols had grown brighter, now glowing visibly even in daylight. Hanbin stepped back. "You're one of them, one of the people changing." "I think I'm something more," Jiwoo admitted. "Every time I go near the central platform, I understand. More of the system, it's like it was made for me to use." Before Hanbin could respond, Melik burst into the room. His normally calm face showed fear. "They're coming," he said. "My people are coming, and they won't stop until they have this technology." "You told them," Hanbin accused, reaching for his weapon. "Of course he did," Jiwoo said, stepping between them. "He's loyal to his people, just as we are to ours." Melik's yellow eyes met Jiwoo's. "High Commander Devek leads the Armada himself," he warned. "My people will not be denied. They'll destroy this planet if they can't control the precursor system." "How long do we have?" Jiwoo asked. 3 days, maybe 4. Hanbin made urgent calls to Earth's leaders, who began preparing all available defenses. But against a Draconian armada, Earth's weapons would be useless. That night, Jiwoo returned to the central platform in the precursor facility. She stood alone in the blue light, feeling the power humming around her. "Show me how to control you," she whispered to the ancient system. Images flowed around her faster than before. Knowledge poured into her mind. How to activate the full defense network, how to control the pocket dimensions, how to awaken the power sleeping in other humans like her. When Jiwoo finally stepped off the platform hours later, the symbols on her arms reached all the way to her shoulders and neck. They pulsed with light in rhythm with her heartbeat. "I know what I am now," she told Hanbin and Melik the next morning. "I'm a key human, specifically encoded to control the defense system." "Can you stop the Armada?" Hanbin asked. Jiwoo looked up at the ceiling, somehow seeing through it to the stars beyond. "Yes," she said, "but I'll need help. There are others like me around the world. We need to find them." As they talked, far out in space, High Commander Devek stood on the bridge of his massive flagship. Behind him flew 300 warships, the largest fleet the Draconian Empire had ever assembled. "Forward," Devek ordered, his red eyes fixed on the small blue planet ahead. "Earth will be ours." The symbols on Jiwoo's arms glowed brighter, as if sensing the approaching threat. The Draconian Armada entered Earth's solar system with 300 warships. They moved past Neptune, then Uranus, then Saturn. Nothing tried to stop them. High Commander Devek stood on his bridge, watching the screens with burning red eyes. "Any sign of the defense system?" he asked. "Nothing yet," his officer replied. "We are proceeding with caution." On Earth, panic spread as the giant ships appeared on space monitoring systems. People looked up at the sky, wondering if the end had come. In emergency meetings around the world, leaders argued about what to do. "We must tell them the truth," Director Tejo said in the Global Council meeting. "They deserve to know what's coming, and what they truly are." Hours later, screens everywhere showed government leaders speaking to their people. They explained what had been found in Antarctica. They told humans the truth they had hidden for decades, that Earth was protected by ancient technology and that humans were made to be its guardians. Some people didn't believe it, others were afraid. But across the world, thousands of people looked at the strange symbols that had appeared on their skin and finally understood. At the Antarctic facility, Jiwoo prepared for what she had to do. The symbols now covered her entire body, glowing bright blue. 20 other people had been brought to the facility, all showing similar signs of being key humans. "Are you sure about this?" Hanbin asked her. "Once you fully connect to the system, you might not be the same." "I'm sure," Jiwoo said. "It's what I was made for." Jiwoo walked to the central platform, the other key humans forming a circle around her. As she stepped onto it, blue energy rose up around her like water. It covered her completely before spreading out to touch each of the others. Inside the B, energy, Jiwoo felt her mind expanding. She could see the entire solar system at once. She could feel Earth beneath her, not just the surface, but all the way to its core, where the main part of the defense system waited. She could sense the approaching Draconian ships and count every being on B. What most amazing of all, she could feel the pocket dimension where the Crimson Fleet had been sent. 50 years had passed there while only weeks had gone by on Earth. The people trapped inside had built lives, started families, created a whole society. Jiwoo opened her eyes. They glowed with blue light, just like the facility around her. The other key humans stood with their eyes closed, connected to her mind, adding their strength to hers. "They're here," Hanbin announced grimly, monitoring the approaching armada on his screens. The Draconian ships had reached Earth orbit. Jiwoo opened her eyes, now glowing with the same energy as the ancient facility. "So are we," Jiwoo raised her hands. Around Earth, the ancient defense system fully activated for the first time in millions of years. Blue energy fields became visible in the sky, spreading like a web around the planet. On his flagship, High Commander Devek saw the energy fields appear. "Full attack," he ordered. "Break through those shields." Hundreds of weapons fired at once. The energy hit Earth's new shields and disappeared, absorbed completely. Jiwoo smiled. With a thought, she opened a communication channel to every ship in the Draconian fleet. Her face appeared on their screens. "Draconian Empire," she said, her voice calm. "You come seeking conquest, but you have found something else. I am Jiwoo, key human and guardian of Earth. I offer you a choice, peaceful coexistence or the same fate as your Crimson Fleet." "We do not negotiate with lesser species," Devek snarled back. "Surrender the precursor technology or be destroyed." Jiwoo shook her head. "You still don't understand what you're facing." She closed her eyes again, reaching into the pocket dimension. Perhaps they can explain it better. With a surge of power that made the air itself vibrate, Jiwoo tore open the barrier between dimensions. In the space near Earth's moon, 50 ships appeared, the missing Crimson Fleet, now showing signs of age and many repairs. "Admiral Korev," Jiwoo called. "Can you hear me?" On the main ship of the returned fleet, an old Draconian with faded gray scales stood up from his chair. Admiral Korev had been young when his fleet disappeared. Now he was old, with wise eyes. That had seen much. "I hear you, Guardian," he replied. His voice was tired but strong. "Tell your people what you found in the other dimension," Jiwoo said. Korev's face appeared on the screens of Devek's ship. "High Commander," he said, "we have lived 50 years in another space. We built homes there, we raised children, and we learned things about the universe that changed us." "What nonsense is this?" Devek demanded. "You were gone only weeks." "Time flows differently there," Korev explained, "and we were not alone. We met others that the defense system had sent there, beings from a dozen worlds who tried to conquer Earth over the centuries. Together we learned better ways to live." Korev looked directly at Devek. "We have seen what lies beyond conquest," he told him. and there are better paths. For hours, Korev spoke with Divek and the Draconian leaders. Meanwhile, Jiwoo maintained the shields around Earth, ready to act if the Armada attacked. Finally, Devik's flagship moved away from Earth, followed by the rest of his fleet. "They're leaving," Hanbin said, surprised. Jiwoo nodded. Korev convinced them. They've agreed to peaceful contact instead of conquest. The energy field around Jiwoo slowly faded. The symbols on her skin dimmed but didn't disappear completely. She stepped down from the platform, tired but smiling. Outside the facility, Taeho stood beside Jiwoo as they watched the Draconian fleet depart peacefully. The returned Crimson Fleet followed them, going home after 50 years away. "What now?" Taeho asked. Jiwoo smiled, the ancient symbols on her skin fading to subtle patterns. "Now we take our place among the stars, as guardians, not conquerors." She looked up at the night sky, seeing it with new eyes. Earth was no longer alone or helpless. Humanity had awakened to its true purpose. And somewhere out there, other worlds, with precursor technology, waited to be found. "We have much to learn," Jiwoo said, "and much to teach." The end.